What is up, you guys? I'm Charmx. Today I'm going to be reacting to Film Theory, Aladdin's Mistake, How to Marry Jasmine in One Wish by the film theorist. Now, I don't know particularly what to expect, but I assume Matt has found a loophole, which Matt seems to be good at. But, yeah, with that being said, hope this be quite awesome. The original link's in the description. Make sure you guys go subscribe to the film theorist. And with that being said, let's begin.
Can we all agree that A Whole New World is like the most romantic Disney song of all time?
I think that's pretty accurate. I don't know. Beauty and the Beast? I really like Beauty and the Beast songs. Like the the new Beauty and the Beast like real life video version that came out or whatever, where it's real people. I really like the music in that. Let me see what song in particular I forget what it's called. Okay, so the song I think is better would be Evermore. And it's from Beauty and the Beast. It's such a good song. I think it's actually better than this.
I mean, a magical starlight flight around the world, beautiful. And then you mix in some of the best lyrics of all time, like, when did you last let your heart decide? Smooth as butter there, Aladdin. Soaring, tumbling, freewheeling through an endless diamond sky. Gorgeous poetry. Don't you dare close your eyes. What'd you say there, Aladdin? You know, real talk, Aladdin, maybe you don't need to be a prince to get Jasmine. Maybe, I don't know, you just stop interrupting your beautiful love song with creepy threats. Just saying. Hello, Internet.
Oh, I like that intro there.
Welcome to Film Theory, the YouTube equivalent of Apu. Getting my dirty paws on everything that you don't want me touching and then ruining it for everyone. Today we're finally talking about Aladdin.
Yeah.
Indeed, it is hot. YouTube and
I'm so glad that you used that meme.
TikTok star Will Smith, because with it being the holidays, I finally got around to seeing the Fresh Prince get decked out like a Smurf to reboot Aladdin. I gotta be honest, there was a lot more screen time dedicated to the genie crushing hard on a human handmaid than I was expecting.
Look at her handmaid. Oh, and she's going to get some punch. I'm feeling a little thirsty myself.
The reboot genuine.
I heard this. I didn't actually see this new reboot, but I heard it's actually pretty good.
Surprised me. I did not anticipate walking out of this movie contemplating the physics of genie-human relations. Glad we rebooted this animated classic to insert the clearly important story thread. Oh, yeah, and to also insert the fact that Jasmine is totally woke in this version, even though she was already the most outspoken and independent princess from the original animated era.
The law says you must.
So does that mean that she's just being normal? Like, it's not like they changed her as a character if she was already woke before.
Be married to a prince.
The law is wrong.
But, you know, maybe that was too subtle. Or maybe the audience was just distracted by her outfit back then or something. So now, we're gonna beat it over your head with a song about being strong AF and having a voice of your own. Which, ironically enough, no one hears because it's a song that's happening in your head. Womp womp. Confused messaging is confusing. But if I'm being honest, I really like this movie. Definitely more than I expected, and definitely not as much as the original. Kinda sums up my feelings about most of these live act.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat Robin Williams. You can't beat Robin Williams. You know, Robin Williams will always be the best genie. Also, wait a minute. Meh? You're rating Beauty and the Beast meh?
Action remakes, except for the Jungle Book one.
Well, I don't know. Beauty and the Beast, it was alright, but I think the music in it was fantastic. Also, I did not see The Lion King, although I think I watched a trailer. I was gonna go watch it, but then I looked at all the reviews and people were saying that like the lions are so realistic they don't express any emotion, and it's like it's worse than the original. So like, nah, I'm not gonna waste my money.
One, which was really awesome. Anyway, as you might have suspected, revisiting this movie also got me to revisit all the old nitpicks people have about the movie's wishing system. Specifically, the nitpicks around Aladdin's first wish to become a prince.
I wish for you to make me a prince.
I found it interesting that in both the original 1993 version, as well as the better at not being racist but worse at being entertaining live-action remake, that Aladdin's first wish ultimately goes nowhere. It's a waste. In both versions of the story, it just doesn't work. Sure, we get ourselves a delightful song and dance number, but both times, Jasmine is fairly unimpressed, and Aladdin is eventually recognized to be the old street rat he was from before, which honestly brings up some interesting questions about how exactly Genie's powers work, but that's a theory for another day. Now, obviously, Aladdin's #1 goal is to marry Princess Jasmine, and the law says that she can only marry a prince. And the genie can't make people fall in love, so I get where Aladdin's coming from with this wish. It is the best workaround around that Aladdin can think up, but clearly it doesn't work. So that begs the question, what should Aladdin have done?
So you found a loophole here, Matt? That's what I assume is gonna happen, is that Matt's found a loophole.
Given the rules that the film has established for its own universe, and also the historical/political system in which the movie set, what would have been the best wish Aladdin could have made to marry Jasmine and live happily ever after in only one wish, which then leaves two others left for, I don't know, whatever he wants. A lifetime supply of classic 90s snack foods.
Oh man, let me go look at those. Let me go look at those. That brings back many memories.
Classic 90s snack foods. 3D Doritos, you were so gnarly, and you were so dead before your time. So let's not waste any more time. Mr. Aladdin, sir, what should your one wish be? Let's do some research, get creative, you ain't never had a theory like me.
You're not allowed to be creative, Matt.
Best advice possible. We need to first narrow down where the
I thought we all agreed not to be creative again.
the events of the movie are taking place, so we can at least give him some insight into the political system that we're dealing with. Cause guess what? Agrabah doesn't really exist. Now, obviously we're dealing with the Sultanate. He is the Sultan, but what exactly does being the Sultan mean? Well, a Sultanate is really just a term for any region ruled by a leader who bears the Islamic title of Sultan. Sultanates have been found historically from Turkey all the way to Indonesia, which, as you can imagine, creates a huge problem for us. We are talking about a massive area of the globe. As such, it should come as no surprise that different sultanates are going to have themselves different rules, different structure.
So I guess you can just pick and choose to the one that is easiest to use for the theory.
There's different levels of intermingling between religion and politics. As such, it's extremely important to nail down Agrabah's location so that we can give Aladdin accurate and regionally specific advice. Lucky for us, we do get some clues from the movies as to where our fictional setting might really exist. Some people are quick to point out
For some reason, I'm thinking it's going to be in like Saudi Arabia. That's what I think. I don't know, could be completely wrong, but that's what I think. Also, I'm gonna go to the washroom because I feel like I'm gonna piss my pants.
out that the design of the Sultan's palace is awfully reminiscent of the Taj Mahal, which, once you know it, is located in Agra, India. And Agra...
Oh, that makes so much more sense. I was so totally off. But this actually makes so much sense that even like the name of Agra is like almost the same from the cartoon.
sounds a whole lot like Agrabah. So
yeah, of course. Okay, this is definitely it. This is definitely it. Look at that. You just take out Ba and you got Agra.
many people conclude that Agrabah must be somewhere in India, but I don't really think that's our best conclusion. At the beginning of the animated Aladdin,
it isn't?
the merchant mentions Agrabah's relation to the River Jordan.
Welcome to Agrabah, city of mystery. Enchantment. The finest merchandise this side of the River Jordan.
The Jordan River is just off the Mediterranean Sea in modern-day Syria, Israel, and, unsurprisingly, Jordan. Additionally, the song Arabian Nights
Oh, really? To me, that was like, oh, that's definitely it. But man, I guess not.
strongly implies that we're in Arabia, which historically referred to what's now Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I was right! I was right! I was right! I didn't expect that. I was actually right.
And the surrounding countries. So, if we're in what's historically known as Arabia, and we have ourselves some proximity to the River Jordan,
So that means you're right here? Like right here? Ish?
then Agrabah is most likely part of the Ottoman Empire, which sprawled from Turkey through much of the Middle East from the 14th century until the early 1900s. Still a massive area, but much more targeted than we were before. So, if we accept that Agrabah is somewhere in the Ottoman Empire, is it good for Aladdin to wish to become a prince? Well, it depends on what you mean by prince, exactly. Strictly speaking, a prince in this form of government would literally be the son of the Sultan. So, if his...
Wait, so let me guess. Is this whole thing, is it gonna come down to the fact that he should have just wished to be Sultan?
His goal is to marry the daughter of a sultan. Best be sure to specify that he wants to be a foreign prince. Otherwise, that prankster genie might fulfill on his wish to the letter, and marrying Jasmine might get super awkward super quickly, depending on how the genie chooses to fulfill on that wish. So Aladdin, to make sure that his wish is airtight, wishes to become a foreign prince. That's the fix then, right? Well, not really. In the very earliest days of the Ottoman Empire, marriages with foreign powers were tactical. But Aladdin is allegedly the prince of a place so small and unimportant that Jasmine's never heard of it before. She can't even find it on a map.
I've been trying to find a Babwa, but it doesn't seem to be on any of my maps.
As such, it's highly unlikely that the Sultan would be willing to marry her off to such a minor figure in the greater political scheme of things. That said, there is another consideration.
Total side note, that actually still happens to this day, where people get married for like power or for like resources and stuff. I was on Reddit, I don't know, must have been like a couple weeks ago, and I saw someone talking about how they were marrying someone, like they were gay. They were marrying, you know, the opposite gender because of the resources that they would get from the marriage. And yeah, so it's kind of eye-opening to see that that stuff still goes on. I think it was in Africa though. I don't think it was Saudi Arabia. I don't know, whatever.
Here. The Ottoman Empire was divided into provinces called eyalets, which are further divided into districts called sanjaks. And while the government of these provinces and districts were not hereditary, meaning that they shouldn't have had princes per se, many of the sanjaks were established to serve lordships that had existed before the territory was a part of the empire. Therefore, if Aladdin made himself part of the elite class of one of the sanjaks, that may technically make him a quote-unquote prince eligible to marry Jasmine. The problem here, though, is while he might be eligible at that point, he wouldn't be very special. There were hundreds upon hundreds of sanjaks throughout the empire, so again, it's unlikely that any title relating to that sanjak is going to get him much respect in Agrabah. It would be like rolling into Washington, D.C. and demanding respect because you're the member of a city council of a small town in Montana. They probably never heard of you, they probably don't care, they're probably going to send you back to your herd of buffalo. So Aladdin's wish to be a prince isn't a very good one, whether you're interpreting that to mean that he'd have to be related to Jasmine, gross, or otherwise a small player in a very local government. So that pretty much sums up why the wish he made wouldn't really work the way he made it, which leads us to the question, what should Aladdin have wished for here? Well,
He should have wished for a whole bunch of ice cream and stayed single forever.
well, since the Sultan made the law in the first place, why not skip being a prince and go directly to the top? Wish to become the Sultan himself, and he could presumably change the law and allow Jasmine to marry whomever she wanted. So what if Aladdin had wished himself to be a Sultan? Unfortunately, there are two pretty big problems here too. The first is that genie wish granting doesn't seem to magically affect everyone involved in that wish, so that they just automatically go along with what the wish was for. Jafar winds up learning this the hard way in the live-action Aladdin remake when he himself wishes to be Sultan and starts ordering around the Imperial Guard.
Hakim, you obey the Sultan, so you obey me now.
And then fast forward one Jasmine speech later and he's suddenly got a mutiny on his hands.
My princess, forgive me. Guards, arrest the vizier.
Let's think this through. The Imperial Guard basically just decides whom they want to follow regardless of...
Friggin' phone! Are you gonna be kidding me? Oh my, okay, you know what, we're gonna keep
who
going. We're
actually
gonna keep
holds
going.
the title of Sultan. And if they're willing to turn on the Grand Vizier, the closest advisor to the Sultan, do we really think that they would have respected Aladdin's authority if he just showed up and magically made himself the Sultan? They would have probably had him executed for trying to usurp the throne, and that's a whole mess that Aladdin doesn't want to get himself mixed up in. The Ottoman Empire wasn't
So then what the frig is the right wish? Wait a minute now. Ah! Maybe the right wish would be, you know, not to have an effect on him, but have an effect on her. What if he wished that she wasn't even a princess to begin with, so therefore she could marry anyone? Problem solved. Why does the wish have to be with him alone, right? Why couldn't it just be on her? Because if the problem is that she can't marry who she wants, well, just friggin' make it so that she can. So I'd make her just a normal person, you know, not the friggin' princess. Is that the solution, Matt?
exactly shy about committing executions. And, well, let's just say that the quality of your execution could vary a lot. If you were lucky, you got yourself a quick and pleasant way to die, like being strangled to death by someone's bare hands. If you were unlucky, you might get yourself hung from a meat hook, Chainsaw Massacre style. The Ottoman Empire did not mess around. And that's not all. Let's assume that the Imperial Guard and the rest of the government was okay with Aladdin living as the usurping Sultan. Even if they were okay with it, other people definitely wouldn't be. You see, succession in the Ottoman Empire was often a pretty messy business. When a sultan died, any of his sons who wanted to claim the throne, which, spoiler alert, was all the sons, conducted a sort of ancient fortnight.
Ancient Fortnite? Don't give them ideas, Matt. Don't give them ideas. The next Fortnite, V3 or whatever, It's gonna come out and it's gonna be like medieval style.
Battle Royale in which the last one standing was the new Sultan. But Pat, Aladdin wouldn't have to worry about that because the Sultan's only child was Jasmine. True, you're absolutely right, but it doesn't mean that he's out of the woods just yet. In its later years, the Ottoman Empire practiced what's called agnatic succession, meaning that the eldest living male in the dynasty would take over when the Sultan died. So if the Sultan had himself a brother, or a male cousin, or some crusty old uncle, any of those would likely have had a similarly strong claim to the throne and could have tackled Aladdin. And trust me, when you took the throne that someone else wanted in the Ottoman Empire, you were gonna have yourself a bad time.
Why is Sans there? Okay.
Assassinations happened all the time in this culture. Now, there are lots of assassination stories from this period in history, but my personal favorite is Sultan Osman II, who was assassinated by a guy called, get this, Pehlivan the oil wrestler.
Is that what he did for a living and that's why he was called the oil wrestler? Or was that like an unfortunate name passed down?
No, wait, my friends, there's more to this story. You see, the method of death in this assassination
Is oil wrestling?
it's officially listed as, quote, compression of the testicles.
Oh!
Just so many questions there, Pehlivan. Long story short, Aladdin is gonna have himself.
Wait, compression of the... What, like they're squeezed? Would that actually like someone? Because you can live if they're you can get them cut off, and you can still live. I don't know. Oh, just the idea of squeezing. Oh my goodness.
A lot of problems if he wishes to become the Sultan. The nicest of which is that everyone ignores him, and the worst of which is that someone is gonna come and squeeze his magic lamp so hard that his diamonds pop out of the rough. All right, so
Too much, Matt. Too much.
it's gonna be hard for Aladdin to hop into this line of succession without either getting himself ignored if he shoots too low or killed if he shoots too high. So what if he just gets creative and breaks the system outright? What if Aladdin just wishes Agrabah stopped being a sultanate? That would get rid of the rule that prevents him from marrying Jasmine, right? Well, it would, but then it would open up a whole new set of problems for him. For commoners during the Ottoman Empire, young men and women had zero say in whom they got to marry. It was
Oh, so my whole thing of just wish she was a normal person or whatever, it wouldn't work.
really just an arrangement brokered by the two sets of parents. Aladdin has himself no parents around to help him even approach the situation. And we know that his long-lost father isn't going to be getting involved in his life until he needs help finding the ultimate treasure. Hashtag straight-to-video sequel. So Aladdin has himself an uphill battle. He somehow needs...
How is this gonna get resolved? It looks like there's no possible hope. But then again, there has to be. Matt has probably found a loophole. I just don't understand or don't see how it could be. Because all of my suggestions or whatever have been explained to be the wrong, so I don't know what would be right.
to get the law changed without altering Agrabah's social order or ruffling the feathers of those in charge by creating a successional crisis. So when you actually look at Aladdin's situation, it's pretty darn complex. He has one wish to get Jasmine to marry him, but most of those wishes are either going to be a waste, like him asking to become a prince, or worse, he wishes something that winds up getting him executed. But there is a solution here. There is actually one wish
What
that
is it?
practically guarantees him Jasmine's hand in marriage. Aladdin should wish for Jasmine to become the Sultan. After their flirtatious meeting in
Oh. I was not expecting that.
the market, Jasmine already has the hots for Aladdin. Certainly much more so than any of her other suitors, like that weird blonde prince guy from the live-action movie. So,
Wait, what?
much more so than any of her other suitors, like that weird blonde prince guy from the live-action movie.
This guy looks like he, okay, never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
So, she would be incentivized to do away with the law that states that she has to marry a prince. If she were the Sultan, that's totally within her right to do, as Sultans effectively answer to no one during the Ottoman Empire. So that box gets itself a big check mark. Next question, would this create the same crisis of succession as if Aladdin became the Sultan? Well, it's not likely. Remember that when Jafar names himself the Sultan, it takes Jasmine less than 5 minutes to turn the Imperial Guard to her side.
My princess, forgive me. Guards, arrest the vizier.
The Sultan himself wouldn't seem to put up too much of a fight either, because he literally gives up control of Agrabah to her at the end of the live-action remake. And hey, why shouldn't she rule? She's charismatic enough to lead, she has Agrabah's best interests at heart, plus she has herself a pet tiger and she likes to study maps. But I'm sure
Bonus!
you're all thinking one thing here. Would the Ottoman Empire have been ready to accept a female as Sultan? Here's the twist. Yeah, actually they would. In the 16th and
Because they've already had some?
17th centuries, the Ottoman Empire had what's called the Sultanate of Women, in which the wives and mothers of the Sultan had themselves great political and social power while running the day-to-day operations of the empire. And yes, there are instances in history of female sultans or sultanas. There's even an instance where one, Razia al-Din, refused the title sultana in the 13th century because she didn't want her title to be distinct from a man's. There's even some occasions in history in which
Ancient SJWs.
a female sultan ruled without connection to a male sultan. If Aladdin really wants the best chance at being with Jasmine in one wish and not setting everyone against him, his best bet is not to wish for his own power, but to wish for Jasmine to finally get hers. And
See, I was kind of right, not really, but I was kind of right in saying that why wish on himself when he should wish that she was like a normal person. Now, making her sultan or whatever wouldn't make her normal at all, but, you know, doing that would make it so that she has the power to abolish that rule. So I was kind of right just in saying that, you know, don't wish on himself, wish on her. That's about the only thing I was right in this whole thing.
ironically enough,
Oh, I got Saudi Arabia right for where the location was.
it would get that strong female theme across way more effectively than any imaginary power ballad ever could. But hey, that's just a theory.
And that's just a creepy image right there, Matt. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. I think this is a good theory, and it does make sense. It does make sense. I was a little bit confused towards, you know, how it was going to get resolved, because everything I had suggested had been debunked by Matt, basically. But, yeah, anyway. I think I'd rate this theory out of a 10. Yeah, that's hot. And I hope you guys like this. Make sure you guys go subscribe to the Film Theorist. If you're new, subscribe to the family. I'll see you guys next time.